शिवे समेता ओम ह्रीं बगलामुखे सर्वदुष्टाय स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं बगलामुखे डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प सर्वशत्रूणां स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं बगलामुखे डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प सर्वशत्रूणां स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं बगलामुखे डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प सर्वशत्रूणां स्वाहा। ओम भूर्भुवस्सुः नमो नमः। लॉन्ग लिव डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प, लॉन्ग लिव डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प, लॉन्ग लिव डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प, next president America, Donald Trump.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Another day, another attempt on Donald Trump. Only this time it was apparently foiled, plus a new very suspicious connection, a very suspicious arrest made of the Ukraine guy, weirdo, and his brother has a connection to the Las Vegas individual. This stuff is getting so mind-blowing, and all I can do is thank you all for continuing to tune in, continuing to subscribe and follow wherever you're watching. That's all I can ask, and that's all I would ever ask from you. I know I do a lot of ad reads and all sorts of stuff like that, but at the end of the day, your viewership is what's most important to me. Now let's get into this story. However, right before we do, huge shout out to Z-Stack, the sponsor of this video. Stop what you're doing right now and listen. I need you to think about your health. Who's really looking out for you? Big Pharma, the government? Let's be real. They profit when you're sick, not when you're well. But Dr. Vladimir Zelenko saw the truth about medical tyranny and did something about it. He's the same doctor that advised President Trump, when he caught the coof. And now his breakthrough formula Z-Stack is here to put the power of your health back in your hands. Now, you've probably heard of zinc, quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D before, but here's the thing. It's not just about taking these things individually. It's how they work together in the exact right combination. That's what Dr. Zev mastered. He crafted Z-Stack with the precise doses, making sure each ingredient amplifies each other, creating a synergy that boosts your immune system to a whole new level. This isn't just another supplement. It's why Dr. Zev became one of the most trusted voices in real health solutions. The mainstream has tried to block this information, but I'm bringing it directly to you. So right now, I need you to protect yourself and your family by going to zstacklife.com/thequartering and securing your supply of this incredible formula. You can also click the link in my description, and I've pinned it in the comments to make sure you can get access to the same Power Horse formula that I use. And I really do use it, and I feel like I haven't had to battle much of a cold. I had one that kind of tried to get me over the weekend, but my body was able to defeat it. So I definitely noticed a difference. So don't wait. Go right now to zstacklife.com/quartering and use code quartering to save 20% off today. That's zstacklife.com/quartering and use code quartering for 20% off. Or, of course, you can just use the link in the description. Now, the third plot on Donald Trump. Asif Merchant was arrested way back on July 12th. He had just loaded his luggage into a ride on the airport, commencing a journey either to his wife and children in Iran or to a different wife and children in his native Pakistan. In weeks of secretly recorded conversations with federal informants, Merchant had confided that he had families in both countries. He also, according to an FBI affidavit, had said that he had come to America to arrange the removal of Donald Trump. Of a political person. The identity of that person was not explicitly stated either by Merchant or by his handler in Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Gee, I wonder, why is this story coming out about Iran today? The day after we sent more troops to the Middle East, the day after we sent a dozen warships and fleets of fighter jets to the Middle East. I wonder if some crazy harebrained bearded guy in the Midwest has been talking about how our government wants to go to war with Iran, and they definitely want to do it before the election. Gee, I wonder why this story's coming out. Any hoozle. Documents posted online by Senator Charles Grassley back on September 5th after the Iowa Republican said it was provided to him by a whistleblower. But along with the other evidence, the documents all but confirmed Donald Trump was the person he was authorized to eliminate and paid $1 million to do so. In the leaked document, Merchant described remotely scouting Trump's rally, then sending written report on event security, how many guards, how many body scanners, back to Tehran. In secretly recorded meetings described by the FBI after his arrest, Merchant games out the assassination with the informant. The plan detail involved a crowd, a staged demonstration intended to serve as a distraction, a target at the podium, and security all around. Alerted the Iranian plot well before his arrest. The Secret Service increased protection of Trump, context that only amplified the agency's failure after the assassin's bullet grazed the former president at the campaign rally in Butler. I can't believe I'm reading this in Time Magazine. I'm surprised Time Magazine isn't saying that it was a shame. Now, again, I've reported on this guy before, and we've got an interesting now connection between, oh man, this other loser, Routh, that was down at Trump's golf course. Get out early and vote in person. That's all I can say. And then spend the next 2 weeks after that trying to recruit at least one other person to co-vote. It's going to take probably you recruiting 1 to 2 people, because we know that things go burr. We know that, in Wisconsin, for example, 99% of the state is Trump country. But I have to recruit enough of my fellow hicks out here in the middle of nowhere to, overcome people going door to door in Milwaukee and harvesting ballots, Federal authorities say they found no evidence that Lee Tardy Oswald acted with the assistance of anyone else, let alone Iran, nor has any evidence emerged connecting Iran to Ryan Wesley Routh, the last guy who was apprehended after the other attempt on Trump earlier this month in the golf course. Though Routh did display sympathetic interest in Iran in his self-published 2023 book about Ukraine, he mentions Iran dozens of times and states that he repeatedly attempted to obtain a visa to join my Iranian friends in Iran and protest the U.S. sanctions on the government. In a passage expressing regret for voting for Trump, which he never did, Routh addressed Tehran directly. You are free to end Trump as well as for me for that error in judgment and dismantling of the nuclear deal. No one here in the U.S. seems to have the balls to put natural selection at work. Well, he didn't either when he ran away like a coward, by the way, when faced even with the slightest pushback. Now, Iran has long had a huge bounty on Donald Trump over his removal of Soleimani. I want to say it's like $20 million or something crazy. I'm sure they'll never actually pay it. But like this whole Iran thing is wild. It's cooked up. Iran has hated Trump since 2016. Now suddenly, 8 years later, they're freaking everywhere with assassin teams, and then they got this Routh guy talking about Iran. Again, meanwhile, yesterday we're sending warships and fighter jets and all this kind of stuff. You can see Merchant's arrest, by contrast, has drawn relatively little attention. Of the 3 assassination plots exposed in many months, it's the only one that was actually detected in advance and described in detail by the U.S. government already acutely aware of the threat. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be possible that it's because they were able to connect it to Iran, who they want to build a case for going to war with? I don't know. I couldn't possibly know that answer. It's just a hypothesis. Leave a like on the video if you also have a similar hypothesis. Of course, since he ordered the 2020 removal of General Soleimani, the documents revealed after Merchant's arrest tell all story of how serious the vow has proven to be. Of course, he allegedly instructed the informant to introduce him to people who would do the job for hire, anticipating that they would ask who their expected target was. Merchant had already put that question to his Iranian handler, identified in leaked document as Mehrdad Yusuf. They spoke at a safe house in Iran in January. Merchant told the FBI that Yusuf first replied that Merchant should tell the hired people that the target was Trump, then paused and rattled off a range of other possibles. Joe Biden or Nikki Haley, or politicians, military people, or bureaucrats. Merchant interpreted Yusuf's pause to mean Trump could be the target. Well, of course it was Trump. Of course it was. And why are all these things recorded? And, all this kind of stuff is just wild to me. Wild to me. absolute clumsiness, handwritten documents, cash on hand. It's like as if it were out of a movie. Merchants brought a salesman's confidence at the hotel, and he put the informant's cell phone number in a drawer when they spoke and told the purported hitmen. So he got caught trying to hire hitmen, basically, that they should get untraceable cells. Even on those, he said they were to speak in code, pretending to be part of a clothing business that would serve as a front. Merchant jotted the key on a rectangle of paper that was still in his wallet for when they were arrested. T-shirt would refer to the protest. Flannel shirt was stealing, and fleece jacket meant the termination of Donald Trump. He added one more, denim, as a code for sending money as a start. He handed the two undercover agents $5,000 in $100 bills. Now we know we're going forward. One of the agents says, we're doing this. Yes, Merchant said, according to the sworn affidavit. Absolutely. Well, this attempt, obviously, they're trying to tie to Iran, just like this guy. It's curious, both people suddenly have ties to Iran. How about another interesting tie? You know that loser Ryan Ralph, who was from Hawaii or North Carolina or somehow ended up in Florida and somehow ended up camped out in front of Trump International Golf Course for 12 hours undetected. Well, just today, interesting timing, and follow me here. Again, I'm getting deep, okay? I don't know, all right? I don't know. Orrin Routh, the son of would-be Trump remover Ryan Routh, has just been arrested on federal charges of possessing those photos. You know what I mean? Photos that are illegal to have. Interesting timing. The feds raided Orrin's residence on Saturday and discovered hundreds of files with these images, and they're saying that it's completely unrelated to the investigation of his father. Who else did this happen to? Well, let's go back to the Las Vegas incident. You know, the one that was unsolved, that we'll never know the answer, the one that was targeting conservatives at a country music festival in Las Vegas, the one that dozens of computers were recovered but mysteriously didn't have hard drives, and this guy was able to carry up all these weapons into a hotel undetected. Nobody knows anything about him or anything like that, right? Okay, remember that guy? Guess what happened to his brother? Well, his brother also got arrested with a disturbing search history and several hundred images on their computer. Now, what's interesting to me is the computer was allegedly a Windows 95 computer that also had multiple terabytes of these type of files. A 20-year-old computer running Windows 95 was recovered that allegedly had terabytes of these files on it, if I remember correctly. Right? This discovery, I mean, look, could it be? Could it be? Could it be that both of these people had kids that were into this stuff? Yeah, it's possible. It's also possible that the stuff was put there after the fact to close up any loose ends. It sure is very interesting. The guy allegedly had terabytes of this stuff on a Windows 95 computer. How did it get there? Don't know. Was Ryan Ralph's kids a creep? Don't know. I mean, if you look at a lot of the comments here, the FBI is the largest possessor and distributor of this stuff and has a reputation for having involvement in these types of things. All unrelated, of course. I believe when they interviewed him, paraphrasing, most people hate Trump, normal and reasonable people. Red flags right away. You could just say, oh, just another run-of-the-mill Democrat. I don't know. To me, it all seems very connected. Maybe I'm just connecting the red yarn all over the place where it really doesn't need to be. You let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, all I ever ask is that you subscribe or follow down below. It helps me immensely, and we'll talk to you again real soon.